Hi all, we are group number 1 for our final market research project. In my group we have Ayush, Lacey, Rishi, Wamsi and myself. We decided to do our project on a new product concept called ideal flatters. We are using the market research data to describe its target market and accordingly its pricing strategy. Ideal Flatter is a new product concept designed to help students or any other person find ideal roommates to ensure them an optimal living situation. The service works by matching clients who are looking for roommates on personality characteristics that would create a synergetic living experience. This will be an online or a mobile based application. Now, its entry market will be students attending the University of Texas at Dallas. Talking about the market potential, there are online services which perform other types of social matching, such as for dating or traveling. Popularity for social media platform has grown substantially since 2008. As you can see from the images, Facebook user increased by nearly 850% from 2008 to 2013, and Match Group Inc. project huge growth in the demand for online dating services as we near closer to 2020. Now, in order to address these points, the aim of this market study is to gather information that will allow us to further segment and describe our target market population in terms of likeliness to use the service and structure pricing options. Now, talking more about these objectives, we aim to address our hypothesis by asking questions that, number one, describe our target market population in terms of demographic data such as gender, age, current roommate status, and whether or not they are an international or domestic student. Number two, measure the likeliness of our target market population to use the product if it is introduced. Number three, find out how many money our target population currently spends on social media services and would they be willing to spend on this type of services. Now let's deep dive into survey research method. So we employed a descriptive market research design as the product is completely new. The study was conducted through online survey administration using Qualtrics survey software. The study survey was designed to address the hypothesis discussed in the introduction. To analyze the result, the following analytic technique will be used to test each hypothesis. So, hypothesis 1, a test will compare survey result between study participant with and without current roommates. The second hypothesis is 3 by 2 factorial ANOVA will compare survey result between gender, either male, female, and other, and international students, like either international or domestic. My bad. Then we have hypothesis number 3. OLS linear regression will be used to predict price participants indicate they will be willing to pay for the ideal flatter service using various survey product concept questions and demographic results. Now, to perform the above mentioned hypothesis, our survey questionnaire comprises of 3 major sections: product concept, pricing, and demographic. So let's talk in detail about these 3: product concept and the product concept score. The product concept section consists of 5 questions related to the likelihood of a participant would be to use this type of product service. The question do not refer to the product specifically, but focus on how likely participant would be use an online personality matching service to find a roommate. So the question would be like, would you provide personality information about yourself in order to be matched with roommate online? Something like that. Now, based on the product concept question, the product concept score was derived by adding each participant response across the 5 product concept question in this section. Low response sums indicate participant would be likely to use ideal flatter, and the range of possible product concept score is 5 to 25. Now let's talk about pricing. The pricing section of the questionnaire consists of 3 questions focused on how much participant would be willing to pay for one-time service and what they already spend on online social media services. So the question would be, Would you pay a premium price for an add-on feature to enhance your experience? Now, the pricing question responses were open-ended, binary, and on interval scale. Questions were presented in random order to all the participants to guard against question order effect. Now let's talk about demographic question. The demographic section of the questionnaire focus on general participant information in order for us to identify our various participant groups within the sample. In this section, participants provided their age, gender, current roommate status, and whether they were looking for a roommate, frequency of social media use on weekly basis, international status, and whether they are full or part-time student. Now we receive these survey results, so let's talk about that. The survey sampled 62 students. In order to maintain data integrity, students who do not complete at least 80% of the survey were excluded from the analysis, and the final sample size used was 40. Now, missing data from survey responses where participants completed 80% or more of the surveys we imputed with median of the survey item. To begin the analysis, we first examine our original hypothesis. Our first hypothesis was that the students currently with roommates would be most likely to use ideal flatter in comparison to students who do not use a roommate. To test this hypothesis, we used an independent t-test between students who do and do not have roommates on their product concept score from the ideal flatter product concept and demographic survey questionnaire. There are not a significant difference, as you can see, between groups. If I mention t is equal to 1.33 and p-value is 0.22, which is greater than 0.05, that means greater than the significance value, and the average product concept score for a student with a roommate is 13.78, was slightly higher than the student without one. But this difference did not reach statistical significance in our sample, as been said. Having both groups aligned on product concept would be promising if it does not matter whether you do or do not currently have a roommate, because both groups may be equally likely to use the service if they need it. Hypothesis 2. Our next hypothesis was that there would be differences in likeliness to use ideal flatter based on gender and international status. This was tested by 3x2 factorial ANOVA with interaction to look for differences between product concept score. For the main effects, gender approach significance, as you can see, with women rating product concept score of 13.89 higher in comparison to male, which is only 13. There were significant differences between international and domestic students. As you can see, p-value is 0.03. With international student having mean of 14.33, rating product concept significantly higher than domestic student, which is only 11. There was not a significant interaction effect, as you can see from the result. Lastly, we hypothesized we would be able to predict prices survey respondents would be willing to pay for the ideal flatter service. Using linear regression model, several variables were collected, regressed on price to find the best fit. Using the stepwise regression technique in model 1, age, frequency of social media use, amount of the past social media expense, and product concept were regressed on price. The model was insignificant and all coefficients fell out. The next model we used, we named it as model 2, contained independent variables, age, and product concept. Overall, model 2 was not significant and no model parameter reached significant value. For the final model, we named it as model 3, product concept was retained, as it did begin to approach significance in model 2 and willingness to pay a premium for enhanced services were regressed on price. Model 3 was a significant model, as you can see from the result, and both parameters reached significance. From this model, we were able to determine that respondents willing to pay a premium for enhanced services will pay approximately 13.6 somehow dollars for more for idle flatter, and on average respondent will pay approximately $8.69 for the services. Now coming to the recommendation, surprisingly, both students with or without roommates did not differ on their product concept score, which means students found the service useful whether or not they are currently living with a roommate. This is interesting because it means both groups found the product equally useful and indicates if they had need for a service, they would be equally willing or unwilling to use it. This means that idle flatters should be marketed to both the groups because they do not differ in their attitudes about the product concept. Next, we did see significant main effects in product concept score differences between gender and international status. Women rated product concept score significantly higher than male, but not others. This indicates that males are more likely to use the product when they need the service. Idle flatters should take this into account when deciding how and where they market. For instance, idle flatters should consider having market creatives that are slightly masculine, and they should market in places that men frequent near campus or such as local gym. Also, international students significantly differ in their product concept scores in comparison to domestic students. International students rated the product as something they would be less likely to use versus domestic student. This means that marketing should be based in the US near the university rather than trying to market to incoming international students before they are here. Finally, we are able to model beginning price points for idle flatter based on survey participant responses to what they would be willing to pay. Using the average product concept score for the base idle flatter service of matching individual two roommates with synergetic personality, they should charge approximately $8.69 for one-time user. To test the market, idle flatter should try pieces around that approximation such as 7.99 or 8.99 and so on to see which price receives the best response after the product has launched. Idle flatter should also offer enhanced customers or premium prices of approximately 22.29. This is a flat rate plus 13.60, which is how people would be willing to spend on a premium product. This enhanced version of the product would guarantee a faster roommate match timeline. Again, idle flatter should test a few different prices surrounding the model premium rate to see which gets the best response, such as 21.99 or 23.99. So that's it from our side. Thank you.